The following program is an OCAmedia community-produced episode of Oregon Life, and we would like to thank our sponsor, the Oregon Brooklyn Optimist Club. We are proud to have you as a sponsor.
Just to think about things in life and in school and eventually when the kids came, think about them a lot. Once my dad passed, I think I talked to him on my runs.
I was a former professor at the university, and I got to know Doug when he was a young man committed to cross country and track and getting an education. I was able to spend time with Doug, and we discussed a lot about how you deal with people and how you become an effective teacher and coach. A number of things that Doug and I shared were caring for people, giving them undivided attention, making sure that they understood that you cared about them as a person. And if they knew that you cared about them as a person, then they would commit to you. And through that commitment, you would be able to get greater performance and greater success from each one of the people you deal with.
You get better by working together. You really do. Okay, so pull a teammate. Let's make our team the best we can be.
So, nice job. Come on, Ava Wink. Nice job. That's it, Brady. Aaron, that looks strong. Connor, nice job. Good. Looking. Hey, getting better. It takes practice. Sounds good. Hayden, you be careful. It's just good to have you back. Okay? Yeah, you guys have a good run. I gotta go get the boys. And Aaron, you guys just make sure you cross safely, okay? Before you start another one.
I said 37.
Because I had him read those. Hadn't read them?
I was pretty on.
You, okay.
37 and mine was 36, so I was
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. How about you? Did you hit yours?
I guess I was only listening for you, so I didn't notice.
Okay. Yeah, I had him do the 200, so I wouldn't
saw
mess up
him
on
go
that.
like
So,
this, so I was like,
and you heard mine,
yeah.
right? And how were you on that?
I was early.
You were early. Okay. Yeah, you had a battle. You were fighting. That is so cool. I mean, that's what state's gonna have to be. You know what I mean? I mean, you get in that fight like that. It's great.
In first place, Oregon.
You did great.
Yeah. It'll come. Give it some time. You're training better now. You know what I mean?
Fourth place, Mississippi.
Yeah. Good. So Bella had you at 31.33. Yeah. So isn't that cool? Yeah. Eva, 34. 34.6. Okay. So that's a good
That's
what?
6 seconds.
6 seconds. Yeah. So really nice. Ava, 2:37 now. Okay. All right. Yeah. Good drive. Yeah. You're in the 30s now. You're in the 30s, right? Okay. And then 36.7.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Reese Evans, and I am on the girls cross country team and the girls distance track team, and I've been on it since I was a freshman. My freshman year, I was a little nervous about going out for cross. I wasn't didn't really think I was gonna stick with it. The only reason why I did it was because my parents really wanted me to try it out my freshman year. But the first day I came to practice, I fell in love with it, and it's because of Coach Debroux. He has just has such an impact all 4 years. Just a great person. He's always It's not about how fast you are. It's not about if you're winning races. As long as you're trying, he's gonna be happy for you. He's gonna reward you. And he's just such a supportive man. during conference my junior year, I ran 3 events, which is the most you can do for running events, tripling. So I ran the 4x8, 800, and the 4x4. And I started the 4x8. I had a great race. I PR'd my time, was super happy. And then I came back for my 800, and so my second 800 of the day, and was hoping to do really well because I started off the day so well. And I did not end up doing very good in my race. And I still had to do another race. But after my race, I came back to Coach Debroux, and he really didn't say much to me. He knew I didn't really want to be talked to because I had another race, but he was just like, you got to come back now. It's time to crank it. So I came back for my 4x4, and I had a great race. And just like even those small words of encouragement that I think people don't realize, like, go so far. Like, I remember going on my cool down run crying because I was so upset with my race, but I was like, okay, I just gotta get this one lap done with, and I just feel like I wouldn't have been in the right mindset if I didn't have like those small words that he encouraged me to do.
Alright, so we're nice and strong now. We'll just do our push-ups. So we're done with push-ups. Sound good? So do these well. And like I said, let the jaws jiggle. Okay? Alright.
Hello, my name is Aaron Dieter. I'm a OHS track and field athlete, and I've worked with Coach Debroux for 2 years now, and it's been a really pleasant experience with him. I've had some very disappointing races this past season, and Debroux has helped me bounce back so many times, and it's really impressive how he does it and the way he treats all of his athletes, and it's really inspiring and motivating. I really appreciate his understanding of my other time commitments, and he's very flexible, and he helps me work around different things to help me achieve my goals in several different aspects of my life. And that's just very inspirational, and I'm very glad to have worked with him for so many years.
Doug's brand of education, and just the way he decided to live his life, like that's what I wanted to do. That's what my dad did, you know, and that brand of education isn't that. It's a rare thing, and it's a rare thing anymore. And it basically goes like, you know, you work your butt off in college, you get the best job that you can, you go there, you inject yourself into the community, I guess, you inject yourself into the community, you pour your heart and soul into it, good, bad, or otherwise, and you teach there for, 40 years, and you die and they bury you outside of town. like that's it. Like, there's few occupations where you get to directly shape the community that you're living in more than you would as a public educator. And you can't do that. You can't do that if you jump ship every 5 years, or even every 10 years, really. And Oregon is the way that it is because Doug is who he is and what he did, And it's a beautiful thing.
So prior to high school, I was in the summer school cross-country running class, and that's when I first met Coach Debroux. He had a huge smile on his face every day, and I still remember this. He complimented my first pair of running shoes that I ever had, and they were hot pink, and he just said, "I love your running shoes," and just made me smile, and that's the first memory I have of him. And coming into high school after that, I wasn't super serious about running. I knew that I wanted to stay in shape and try out a high school sport, but I was kind of like, I'll try this running thing. I wasn't super serious about it. But I learned quickly that I did have potential, and Coach Debroux really, I wouldn't have gotten to the point I was at without him. He really made me realize my true potential and challenged me every single day to reach that potential. And I think everyone should have a coach like that or a teacher like that in their lives. I wouldn't have gone to state my senior year without his impact on me and him pushing me every single day. When people ask me who my biggest role model is, throughout my whole life, I think of Coach Debroux. He's that guy who's there every single day with a smile on his face. No matter what kind of day he's having, he shows up every single day for his athletes and for his students. And as a teacher now at Brooklyn Elementary School, I look up to him more than I ever have, I think, because he's made such a positive impact on me as a person, showing up every single day for me, and that's the kind of impact that I want to have on my students and my future athletes. So really, he's made such a ripple effect throughout this community. If there's one thing that I could pinpoint that Coach Debroux taught me, it's to go the extra mile and to put your whole heart into everything you do. And as I walk into the classroom every day to teach, I still think of the lessons that he taught me and the things I did at practice and the attitudes that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. It all comes back to Coach Debroux. He's that guy you never forget. Like, he's my biggest role model, and yeah, I wouldn't be where I am today without him.
I'm Steve. I was Director of Athletics and Assistant Principal when Doug Debroux, Coach Debroux, came to Oregon, fresh out of Platteville University. He came as a math teacher and a cross-country coach, and he stepped into a program that was pretty much average, but came with high expectations. Mr. Apple, the principal, was the one that headed up his hiring, and he gave me glowing information about Coach Debroux, both as a teacher, as a person, and as a coach. So I was excited for that, and everything came to fruition. Doug was a great coach, a great teacher, and a great person. He built a really strong program, and right away he had used the word team. Together, everyone achieves more. And that's truly was his underlying philosophy through all the time he was coaching. And no matter whether you were the best runner or the slowest runner, you had equal position on the team. And I can speak to that pretty plainly because my son, as a freshman, was the slowest runner on the team. And he felt good about what he did. He contributed as a team member, just like all of them did, and he also had his own personal goals to reach. So it was both personal improvement and also working for the benefit of the team. One of the things Doug did right away that was very helpful, both in preparation for meets as well as getting the kids to gel as a unit, was having spaghetti suppers the night before meets. And they'd be hosted at one of the parents' houses, and they furnished spaghetti and bread and pancakes, and the kids loaded up on carbohydrates. It was fun. My wife Ann and I hosted those at times, but it was a real team building event. As I think of Doug and team, I can think of kids who were somewhat at risk as young people in high school. They came out for the sport, and by the time they left the sport, they were no longer at risk, because Doug didn't just teach them to run and be strong runners and be a good teammate. He taught them how to be people who were responsible, respectful, and caring, and how to work together. He helped them grow as people. And I've seen that in many cross-country runners. And Ann and I had our children, Megan and Tim, were in the program for 7 years total between their years in school. So we went to a lot of meets. We missed one in all the time that the kids were running. I sought out another high school or cross-country parent before I came down here, and I asked her just for a few comments. And the first one she made was very poignant. She said Doug was the best introduction to high school that her kids could have had. She had two that ran cross-country. And that's a powerful statement, because having worked at the high school doing 9th grade orientation, those kids come in scared, because kids make all sorts of comments about what's going to happen. Most of them don't, by the way. But with cross-country starting early, and the concept of team and everybody to be included, there was a base of support for those 9th graders as they walked the halls. There was always another cross-country runner around that would readily help them and take care of them. I think of an example. Doug used to have an alumni meet, and the alums would come back because they loved to come back and see Doug and be part of the program. And one of them, Jake Olkey, who had been a state level runner, was an alum. He came back. He had finished the race. My son was way out that way, one of the last ones coming in, and struggling. And Tim did not want to walk. So Jake went out and greeted him, and he ran with him the rest of the way in. That's the kind of thing that Doug built in his program. And that's beyond value in what happens with young people. And Jake Olkey and many others are still really fine people, but that was a very moving moment in what happened for my son's cross-country career.
Hi, my name is Sophie Hairwire. I've been on the cross-country and track team for 4 years, and Debroux has been my coach for all of my cross-country and most of my track, too. One story that I have about Coach Debroux is from this year, and it was at the start of the track and field season. And during the winter, I had done wrestling, which was like a new thing for me. So it was very different from what I usually did, and I hadn't been doing a lot of training for track in the winter. So we had our first meet, and I didn't do as good as I wanted to. After the 4x4, we were talking to Coach Debroux, and they were reading off our. But something he said to me after that really stuck out to me when he was like, "It's a hard transition. Wrestling is short and fast, but track is a whole different thing, and you might not be ready now, but you're going to be ready at the end of the season when it matters." And that really spoke to me, because as much as you might be disappointed or hard on yourself, your coaches can always see that in you, and I know that Debroux is one of those people that's always seen that in me, and that he was right, that at the end of the season I had built up my strength and the transition was smoother, and I was doing as good as I always have been. Debroux during cross country always liked to get us Gatorade and chocolate milk, and sometimes granola bars and stuff. And something that was really special is when I mentioned that the white Gatorade is my favorite, and every single time after that he always made sure to set aside one for me, so nobody would take all of them and I'd still have one. Or just in general, make sure that that was the flavor he got. And it's something super small, but it's something that I'll always remember because Debroux, you know, coaches a lot of people and it made me feel special. And I think that's like something really important as an athlete, to make sure that like you're heard and your coach like understands you.
Coach Debroux is just an absolute inspirational educator. He is someone who has instincts that serve him well. He gets to know his students, leverages those relationships to really hold each and every kid to high expectations. It's the same in the classroom as it is on the track or on the race course. Doug knows his kids, he cares about them. That is so clear to every single student who's ever known Doug over his 37 years in this district. And I can tell you, I have never met a colleague who also transmits that sense of caring and belonging to folks in his department and our staff as a whole. It was a great pleasure for me to be able to get to know Doug and to continue to serve kids in this community in a way that he has for so very long.
You know, it's interesting. Coach Debroux didn't run this program by himself. He had an assistant coach, unofficial, but a great assistant coach, and her name was Cheryl, who happened to be Doug's wife. And I can tell you, the first time I met Cheryl, I was hall monitor at lunch hour in the front hall, so kids couldn't run down and bother classes from the cafeteria. And this young woman came walking down the hall, and I asked her for her pass, and she indignantly said, "I'm Doug Debroux's wife, can't I go down there?" I said, "Yes, you certainly can." So that was when I met Cheryl. And I can tell you, she's every bit as wonderful a person as Doug is. And again, she personifies team because she was a part of that team. Those kids became their family. Cheryl did a lot of work behind the scenes, was very supportive and just very energetic and positive. And I know outside of the actual coaching time, she and Doug talked a lot about things to do, things to work on, things to fix, things to make the program better, and just lots of details she took care of. So it's important to recognize that as Doug has left coaching, Cheryl will be also. They were a great team, and I appreciate very much as an educator and a parent what they did for the students and athletes in Oregon.
Hi, I'm Becky Birkin, and I was an OHS cross-country runner for 4 years back in the 90s. I first met Coach Debroux. Side note, I hate running, and he knows this, so I feel like I can say it on camera. My friends were all deciding to go out for cross-country, and I thought I would join. So I think that I never would have stayed on that team for 4 years of my life if it weren't for that man. Coach Debroux is one of those people who enters your life and then hopefully never leaves it. We met back up when I moved back to Oregon. I became a member of the local triathlon team here. I started off as a runner, which is weird because I did mention that I don't like running. But when combined with the other two modalities of a triathlon, I was glad that I had that backbone and that experience all those years running under a great leader. I met Coach back again at the Oregon pool when I was training for Ironman. All of a sudden there he was again in my life, and it was like we picked up where we never, right where we left off. And he gave me this cool shirt because I saw him out running one day with it. Tried to catch up to him and I couldn't, which was embarrassing. But I liked his shirt a lot, and so next day at the pool, he had gifted me one. So that was pretty special, and I really cherish it now. Coach eventually was also in my life one other time when I was running the Burby Derby after I had been training for a little bit. And I was having a really good race. It was a really good race that year, and I felt great. And I'm like in my prime running, and all of a sudden, if anybody knows Coach Debroux, you know his shuffle when he runs. It's a very distinguished, you can hear it coming. And I heard it coming behind me on the Burby Derby trail. And I was like, no, that's not him. And it was. And then he passed me, like not even remotely slow, he like flew past me. So that was a little embarrassing, but also humbling to know that he was still out there doing what he loves, kicking my butt. But that was another fun time of Coach Debroux post cross country. So overall, I think that there's very few people, and actually, the Oregon School District will never have another educator and coach like that man. Mark my word, never. Coach Debroux, I love you. The world loves you, and thank you for being an amazing human and making it a better place.